Okay, alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings everyone. So for today's lesson, we're gonna look at your lecture notes 3. You can find this on Edmodo. Okay, so let's go to the first part. Now, lecture notes 3 will focus on the while reading part. That means while reading, you need to know and you need to identify the strategies to make your reading task easier. Alright, so the first page here mentions about dictionary skills. Now, dictionary skills are important in order for you to find the meanings of words. Other than that, meaning other than just finding the meaning of words, dictionary can also find other information related to the words. Okay, so if you look at page 1 of your lecture notes 3, you will find an example taken from the Cambridge Dictionary. Okay, let's look at the first example given. So for example, the word given is schedule. Okay, so at the beginning, the bold word will be the word that you're looking for. For example, schedule. Okay, underneath it will be the parts of speech. Okay, the parts of speech here refers to the category or the group of word that this particular word belongs to. For example, schedule belongs to the group word noun. Okay, so I think you know the meaning of nouns. Okay, nouns is in Malay we call it kata nama. Alright, so you need to know that the parts of speech is a very important aspect of the English language. Okay, other parts of speech may include verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and etc. Okay, so you know already based on dictionary, schedule belongs to noun. Okay. Next, underneath noun, you will find the pronunciation part of the word. Okay, so in Malaysia, we need to focus on the UK or the British way of pronunciation. So the correct pronunciation should be schedule. You can also look at the US or the American way of saying it, which is schedule. Okay, so remember, we only focus on the British way of pronunciation in Malaysia. Alright. Okay, so underneath pronunciation, you will find definition. And most of the time, and I hope you have a dictionary at home with you, the dictionary will provide not only just one definition, but it will provide maybe 1, 2, or even 3 definition for that certain word. Okay, what you need to understand is each word will have different definition based on the situation given. For example, you look at definition number 1. It says schedule is a list of planned activities or things to be done, showing the times or dates when they are intended to happen or be done, etc., etc. Okay, now there's another part there. It says parts of speech and pronunciation again. So like I said, depending on the situation, you will know that it will go under a different part of speech. For example, to schedule a meeting. To schedule a meeting. So you know, to schedule is a verb, no longer a noun. So you have to know where and how the word is situated for you to understand the function of the word. Doesn't mean to say that once a word is grouped under noun, it will always be a noun. No, it can also change into a verb or into an adjective depending on the situation or the sentence type. Okay. Alright, let's look at definition 2. It says to arrange an event or activity will happen at a particular time. The meeting has been scheduled for tomorrow. The flight is scheduled to arrive but it's running whatever, etc., etc. So you know already this is a verb. It's no longer a noun. Okay, like I said, the meaning of the word and the parts of speech of the word depends on the situation of the sentence that you're looking at. Sometimes it can be a noun, and sometimes when the situation dictates, it will change into another parts of speech. For example, a verb or an adjective. Okay. Alright, if you look at page 2, other than definition, what other information you can find in the dictionary entry? So answer this question. Okay, other than definition, based on what we learned just now, tell me what other information can you find in the dictionary entry above. So this is your task number 1. Right. Okay. practice number 1. Alright, practice number 1, we'll do this in our next class. Okay, right, practice number 2 also, we'll do this in our next class. Okay, alright, let's look at page number 3, pronoun reference. Another skill used when reading a text is identifying pronoun reference. Okay, so what you need to understand about pronoun, okay, in Malay we call this kata ganti diri. Alright, so pronoun is the word that you use to replace yourself in a sentence. For example, your name is Ali, and then you can't simply, like mention your name all the time throughout the essay. So you might want to change Ali to he or I, or him. Alright, so this is what it means by pronoun. Now, the ability of identifying pronoun reference while reading will help you to develop a better understanding. The meaning of the text might change if you choose the incorrect antecedent or referent of a pronoun. Okay, that means the noun that is replaced by the pronoun. Hence, it is crucial to acquire this skill to fully understand the text. Okay, alright, so what is a pronoun? Like I said, pronoun is a word that is used to replace the noun. So Ali is a noun. Okay, it's a special noun. Alright, okay, so thus pronoun must always agree with the noun that it replaces in number and person. A singular noun have to be replaced with a single pronoun and vice versa. For example, Ali is a single noun, right? Ali, Abu is a singular noun. A table is a singular noun. A chair is a singular noun. A car is a singular noun. So you have to replace it with the singular pronoun as well. If you, let's say for example, you say Ali and Abu, or tables, chairs, cars, that means you're referring to a plural a plural noun. So if you are referring to a plural noun, that of course you have to follow it with a plural pronouns as well. Alright, so this is what it means. For example, a singular noun Ali, you can change that into he or him. Okay, alright, so that means this is a singular pronoun. If you say Ali and Abu, then the plural pronoun will be they. Alright, okay. Let's look at example given on page 4. It is important to know that the antecedent may precede or follow the pronoun. Okay, precede means to come before or follow the pronoun. Okay, so let's look at example number 1. Malaysian scientists, so this is the noun that we're talking about, have discovered a number of remarkable theories for the past years, and they received awards at national as well as international level. So if you look at the word they there, that is a plural pronoun. What do you think it refers to? Of course, the Malaysian scientists. So they is the pronoun referring to the nouns Malaysian scientists. Okay, alright, let's look at example number 2. Alright, Hafizah Noor is one of the physicists who managed to prove one of the theories made by Albert Einstein. Okay, her achievement has been recognized as one of the extraordinary scientific breakthroughs recently. So in Malaysian context, you know already the name Hafizah Noor refers to a person, and Hafizah Noor refers to a woman. Alright, so when you want to change the name or the noun Hafizah Noor to a pronoun, you know already you have to change it into a female pronoun. That means her, she. You can't say he, you can't say his, you can't say him, because in a Malaysian context, Hafizah Noor is a woman. So it is advisable, it is, of course, it is asked of you to use the female pronoun to represent her, okay, or the possessive pronoun. Okay, so in both example 1 and 2, the antecedents precede the pronoun, meaning, okay, antecedents is the name. For example, Malaysian scientist or Hafizah Noor. So you explain first to the readers, who are you referring to? Hafizah know, and then Malaysian scientist. So the pronouns that come after it, the readers will be able to guess, will be able to understand that these pronouns refer to them. Alright. Okay, so let's look at example number 3. It is one of the greatest tools in education as the internet allows students to retrieve the required information. Okay, so this one, you see already the pronouns is given first. For example, it says it. You don't know yet what it refers to. Okay, so as you read along the sentence, you will understand, oh, it refers to the internet. Alright, so you know already it is the pronoun of the internet, because the internet is also a noun, right? And internet is not a person. You don't know if it's a male or a female. That's why you use it as the pronoun. Okay, example number 4. They have the responsibility of planning and preparing engaging lessons. Therefore, teachers need to explore the ideas and possibilities presented by the internet. Okay, so they, alright. Just now we learned that the internet is a singular pronoun, so they cannot refer to the internet. So you know already, they refers to a group of word, a plural form of a noun. So you look at the sentence and I think you can find they have the responsibility of planning and preparing engaging lessons. Therefore, teachers need to explore the ideas and possibilities presented by the internet. So surely they refers to teachers. So they is the pronoun of teachers, right? Okay, so explain to me what is a pronoun and give me an example of pronouns that you know. Give it in a sentence. For example, you say Ali and Abu are best friends. They went to the same school and they went to the same class. They have the same hobbies, whatever. So this is the example that I want from you. Yeah. So your task number 2, explain to me what is a pronoun. Okay, tell me the examples of pronouns that exist. For example, it, he, she, etc., etc. Give me the examples and give me an example of a sentence where you use the pronouns together with the nouns. So see how you understand it. Alright. Okay, let's look at page number 5. Okay, pronoun can also be used to replace noun that expresses an idea, a feeling, a state, or a belief. Okay, like I said, pronoun does not only limit itself to a person. It can a person or an animal. It can also used to replace noun that expresses an idea, a feeling, a state, or a belief. Okay, let's look at the example given here. Example number 5, entrepreneurship. So you know already, entrepreneurship is not a person. Okay, it is an idea, it is a belief. So let's look at example number 5. Entrepreneurship in education is about inspiring entrepreneurial potential. This ensures that education delivers the right skills for the growth of entrepreneurship and prepares students to identify and address challenges and opportunities. A lot of research from around the world has shown that entrepreneurship education should start from an early age. The entrepreneurial skills that should be taught in schools include financial literacy, design thinking, and win by failing. These can help the students to grow holistically and face a challenging world. Okay, so if you look at the example, the one underlined, alright, the two ideas underlined, which is entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills. So you know already this represent ideas, like I mentioned before. Okay, so it's not a person, it's not an animal. So if you're wondering whether can you represent them in pronoun, yes, you can also represent this in pronouns. So the third word that is underlined is the pronoun that is used to represent both of these ideas, these or they. Alright. Okay, let's look at practice number 3. Okay, practice number 3 also, we'll do this in our next class. we'll discuss. You have to finish it on your own so that when I call out your name in the next class, you will be able to answer me. So please, I don't want you to submit the practice 1, 2, and 3 today, but I want you to complete it before we go to the next class, so with that we can discuss it together. Alright? Okay, so in today's class, I'm just going to explain the theories to you, and I want you to explain to me in your own video later on what you understood from today's lesson. Alright? Okay, let's look at text number 2. Music helps to express a variety of emotions. It can stimulate emotions through specific brain circuits. So you know already, it refers to music. Alright, so it is a singular pronoun referring to the singular noun. Okay, a lot of people turn to upbeat music when they feel sad or depressed. Alright, so they is a plural pronoun, that means more than one. So you know already, they does not refer to music, but a lot of people. So a lot of people is a noun here. A lot of people means more than one person. So they is the plural pronoun that you use to refer to a lot of people. Okay. Okay, let's look at sentence number 8. You can find this in your own lecture notes later. Alright, so this is text 2. Okay, sentence number 8. The autistic children could then indicate and identify emotion based on the songs that represented that emotion. So you know also there refers to autistic children. That's why it's using the plural pronoun there and not it. Okay, alright. So same. This is practice number 3. This falls under practice number 3 also. Please complete this for the next class so that we can discuss together. Alright. Okay. Let's look at page 8. Okay, page 8, implying meanings and making inferences. So this is the same as the contextual clues that we learned in our previous class, you know. How to guess the meaning, how to imply the meaning, and how to make references when reading. So like I said in the previous lesson, you have learned how to identify the main ideas and supporting details in the text. Okay. Another important skill that an effective reader should have are the ability to imply meanings and to make inferences. Okay, like I said, imply meanings and make inferences is when you identify and when you guess the meaning based on your reading. Okay, so active readers will constantly ask questions while they are reading, as this will help them to engage with the text. Okay, so you need to ask questions in order for you to really understand what you're reading. Okay, so as you read, you will notice that writers do not explain everything in the text. Okay, there are always some gaps in between. When you're reading, you will understand that sometimes the author does not include everything in their writing. Sometimes you have to guess the meaning. Sometimes you have to guess what is the author trying to say. So there are always some gaps. That means there are always something that is not told in between the details of the text where some information is not included. The bridge to these gaps are the skills of implying and inferring. So in order for you to understand what is going on between the gaps, okay, the gaps is something that is not being told, you have to know how to imply and how to infer. Now, let's go to implying meanings. You can use the skill of implying when there is a hidden or unclear information in the text. Okay. These hidden details are also known as implicit ideas, where the writer seems to suggest the idea and not directly express it in their writing. Meaning, whenever you are reading, sometimes you know that the writer wants to say something, but he or she does not directly say that to you. So this is how you need to imply the meaning. So when implying the meanings, you need to find the clues in the text to help you find that help you to make inferences later on. One of the ways of locating the clues is by studying the tenses used. Alright, Okay, so let's look at the example given here. Okay, so this is on page 9. If you can look at page 9, it says past, now, future. So this timeline will indicate the actions that take place in simple present tense. Okay, so present tense habitual actions are frequently signaled by time expressions such as the following. Okay, so if you want to know whether this is happening right now or in the past, you can also refer to the tenses. I think you have learned this in your school days. Your teachers have taught you that we have three major tenses. We have simple present tense, simple past tense, and simple future tense. So simple present tense is the most commonly used tenses. Alright, so simple present tense refers to something that we do all the time. For example, sleeping, eating. Muslims, we pray all the time. And then of course you eat all the time, you sleep every day, right? For example, something that is habitual to you, familiar to you. For example, you like doing exercises, you exercise every day. So this can also be explained in simple present tense as well, because this is something that you do every day. So you exercise every day, then you have to use it in simple present tense. If you for example, you eat every day, right? Every day you don't skip meals, you don't skip eating, so you do this every day. Therefore, this type of actions that you do every day, that you do all the time, is the one that you have to represent in simple present tense. Okay, so this is task number 3. Please explain to me what you understand about simple present tense. Can you give me an example? Okay. Alright, so let's go back to page number 9. Okay, present tense habitual actions are frequently signaled by time expression. For example, always. Yeah, you always sleep. I mean, you always eat. Okay. Alright, all the time, every class, every day, every holiday, every hour, every year, every month, every semester, every week, every year, most of the time, never, often, rarely, sometimes, usually, always. So these are the remember the transition signal. So this is the transition signals that expresses time. Okay, so you need to understand its function. Okay, let's look at examples given here. Below are some of the examples on the use of simple present tense. Okay, to express habitual action. Habitual actions means some things that you do all the time, some things that is very familiar to you. For example, the universities in Malaysia usually accomplish a lot of remarkable achievements. So each of the university, you will see there are a number of achievements. For example, UPM managed to get ranked top 100 in the whole world, whatever. So this is always recorded as the university achievement. Or you can say Malaysian athletes perform and win at international events every year. So every year you will hear the news of our Malaysian athletes performing and winning at international events. Okay, so this is something that happens every year. So this is also used you can also explain this using simple present tense. So remember, your task, your number 3 task, is to explain to me what is simple present tense and give me an example. Okay. Alright, so this is page number 10. Okay, so if you look at page number 10 of your lecture notes 3, there are other examples here. Alright, so number 3, second function, to express opinions or perspective. So when you are expressing opinions or perspective, also you will use simple present tense. For example, we believe that the Minister of Education has a lot of ideas to improve the quality of education. Or students from other countries prefer to study in Malaysia as the education system in Malaysia is at world-class standard. Okay. So these opinions and perspectives, they current. Okay, so that's why you have to use simple present tense. You can't use past tense, you can't use future tense. It does not explain the opinions and perspective. Because, for example, if you say past tense, that means the person who's saying the idea, he's already dead. Okay, so that's why we use simple present tense. And you cannot say future because it's happening right now. So you can't use simple future tense. You can only use simple present tense. Okay, next. Function is to indicate general ideas and truth. Okay, when you want to tell us something about facts, or historical ideas or beliefs, so this needs to be presented in simple present tense, because it will never change. It will never, be altered in any way. So you have to say it in simple present tense. Okay, for example, pollution is one of the effects of human activities. Yes, everybody knows this. So something that is considered as a general truth, as a general idea, which is, in other words, everyone knows this idea. So you have to present it in simple present tense. Yeah, the internet changes many aspects of our lives. Yes, you know already. Everybody knows that the internet changes many aspects of our lives. Okay, so this is why you have to use the simple present tense. Okay, all right, so let's look at here. The use of simple present tense can help you in guessing the implied idea in a sentence. Okay, so if you are still clueless about what I am talking about, alright, I want to tell you the function of simple present tense in a text. It helps you and shows you the function. Alright, okay, so next, the function of simple present tense is that it can help you in guessing the implied idea in a sentence. For example, Nelson Mandela has once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you use to change the world. In this statement, simple present tense as seen in the use of a verb is used to indicate a fact or a general truth. Because why? Everyone knows that education is in fact the most powerful weapon which you use to change the world. That's why even though Nelson Mandela said this a long time ago, even though it happened in the past, it is still used in simple present tense. Because why? Nelson Mandela is giving an idea which is a general idea and a general truth. That's why you have to say it in simple present tense, because education, everyone knows education is the most powerful weapon that you use to change the world. Everyone knows this fact, right? Therefore, this implies that education is very crucial. Yes, okay, next. Education is the most powerful weapon which you use to change the world. Okay, another example given here. Okay, we can find clues that may indicate the importance of education. Therefore, in this statement, Nelson Mandela believes that education is very important and relevant in the past, present, and most probably in the future. Okay, so when you use simple present tense, you mean to say that the idea is relevant all the time, meaning it's relevant in the past, it's relevant now, and it will also be relevant in the future. So if an idea is relevant, or if an idea is accepted all the time, for example past, present, and future, then you have to use the simple present tense. That means this idea will always be valid all the time. So again, task number 3, explain to me what you understand about simple present tense and give me examples, meaning how do you use it in a sentence and when do you use simple present tense. Okay, alright, let's look at page number 11. Okay, so just now we were talking about simple past tense. Now we want simple present tense, and now we want to talk about simple past tense. So what is simple past tense? Okay, so simple past tense is used to describe an event or situation that happened and has been completed in the past. Okay, similarly, simple past tense is also used to describe a habitual action, Okay, you can also describe an habitual action, but this action occurred regularly and repeatedly only in the past. That means it's no longer continuing in the present. That's why we say simple past tense is used to describe an event or situation that happened and has been completed in the past. Okay, alright. It is also used to express opinions or perspectives and to indicate about facts or general truth that were only relevant in the past. Yes, this is the difference between simple present tense. Simple past tense only talks about something that has been completed and is only relevant in the past. Now, no longer relevant. For example, okay, back in the days, you can use 1 ringgit to buy a lot of stuff. For example, you can buy candy, you can buy ice cream, you can buy drinks with only 1 ringgit. But that is only relevant in the past. Today, you can't even buy an ice cream with 1 ringgit. So it's no longer relevant now. It's relevant then. Okay, that's why you use simple past tense. But is it relevant today? Can you use 1 ringgit to buy ice cream and candy and drinks? You can't. 1 ringgit is not even enough to buy an ice cream. So this is no longer relevant. Alright. Okay, please. So task number 4, explain to me what is simple past tense and give me the example. Okay. When do you use simple past tense and how do you use simple past tense? Alright. Okay, so let's look at examples of the functions of simple past tense. Okay, still on page 11. Okay, one of the function of simple past tense is to express habitual actions but in the past. Okay, something that happened in the past and is no longer continuing in the present. Okay, for example, people kept in touch with relatives and friends by sending letters. Do you still send letters? Okay, I don't think so. Okay, like 95% of the time, people will no longer send letters because you have WhatsApp, you have FB, you have text messages, so you don't have to send letters anymore. So I would say that this is no longer relevant now. It's only relevant in the past. Okay, and then people used public phones before cell phones were invented. Yes, back in the days, people can only use public phone because you don't have iPhones yet. We don't have Androids yet. So in order for them to call their families or call their friends, they have to go to the public phone. But is it still relevant today? Do you see anyone using public phones today? No. Okay, people are not using public phones anymore. They are all with their phones and iPads and Android. So this is no longer relevant. Okay. Alright, let's look at function number 2, to express opinions and perspectives in the past. For example, people claim that Vint Cerf was the father of technology as he pioneered the invention of the internet. So this idea is only relevant in the past. It's no longer relevant today. We no longer think that this person, Vint Cerf, was the father of technology because this is only relevant in the past. Okay, another one. Many thought that the internet did not bring any good to the society. Yes, back in the days, people would think that internet does not bring any good to the society. But today, does the idea still feel the same? Is it the same today? Do you still feel the internet does not bring any good to the society? Of course not. Okay, so back in the days, people think that the internet does not bring any good. But now, yes, everyone thinks that internet brings a lot of good to the society. Alright. Okay. Next function of simple past tense, to indicate general idea and truth in the past. Yes. Okay. It has the same function as simple present tense. But like I said, simple past tense only talk about issues or ideas that have been completed in the past. Okay, so it's no longer happening now. It only happened in the past and it has already stopped there. It's not continuing into the present. Okay. For example, given here, before 1958, access to education was limited in Malaysia. So this is very clear. So it says, up till 1958, access to education was limited. 1958 to current year, okay, access to education is no longer limited. So the idea stops at 1958. So this happens in the past. That's why we use simple past tense. Okay, so let's look again. This is we're still at page 12. Society perceived women as weak and incapable. Why do we use simple past tense? Because the idea is no longer relevant today. We no longer think that women is weak and incapable. Okay, sorry, women are weak and incapable. Why? Yes, back in the days, most people in our society will deem that women are weak and incapable. But this is only true in the past. Today, we no longer think or perceive women to be weak and incapable. So that's why we use simple past tense, because the idea stopped in the past. Okay, in the present time, we no longer think women are weak and incapable. So I hope you understand the differences between simple past tense and simple present tense. Okay, so task number 5, tell me what's the differences between simple present tense and simple past tense. Okay, right, so task number 5, tell me what's the differences between simple present tense and simple past tense. Just in your own word, make it simple. Yeah. Okay. 13. Right, so let's look at page 13, making inferences. Alright, just now we were talking about implying meanings, right? Now is the time for us to make inferences. So making inferences or inferring is a strategy that proficient readers use when they infer the text. Okay. Making inferences meaning making educated guesses, okay, or logical guesses. Okay, so making inferences or inferring is a strategy that proficient readers use when they infer the text by making, like I said, making logical and educated guesses to what is not clearly stated in the text. Okay, making inferences is considered challenging to many as they have to read in between the lines, meaning you really have to understand and identify what the author is really trying to say. Meaning you have to guess what is this author trying to say, right? So to build a deeper understanding, establish a strong connection, and draw logical conclusions of the text. When you infer, you don't simply make wild guesses. Okay, because good readers will use the skill of implying to find the clues in the text and use their prior knowledge or schemata to make logical inferences and thus drawing conclusions that make sense to the text. Nevertheless, an inference is not expected to be 100% accurate. That's why you say guesses. You don't know yet, you don't know for sure that you will be right, but you will still need to have those guesses because you want to know what will happen in the text. Okay, however, it will help you to have a deeper understanding if the message is conveyed by the writers. Okay, let's look at the same statement by made by Nelson Mandela on education. Right, what can be inferred about the role of education in shaping the world as a better place? Okay, so you know already in the sentence, remember, by Nelson Mandela, he says, education is the most powerful weapon which you use to change the world. Okay, so why do you use simple present tense? So if you understand today's lesson, you'll know already simple present tense is used because education will always be relevant. Past, present, future. I mean, in the past also, everyone is encouraging that we should have enough education. Today also, education is important. So in the future also, people will say education is important. That's why you use simple present tense and not simple past tense. Alright, so you know already, this is based on a general truth because it uses simple present tense. So this is how you make inferences based on the sentence structure. Because the sentence is written in simple present tense, you can guess already this is a fact. This is a general truth that will always be relevant. And then it can be inferred that education is the only option in building a more civilized human societies instead of wars. Okay. Okay, let's look at other example given. Okay, we used this example just now in simple past tense. It says, society perceived women as weak and incapable. Alright, so you know already it is written in simple past tense. That means it's no longer relevant now. It's no longer relevant in the present. It will not be relevant in the future. That's why it uses simple past tense, because it is only relevant in the past, because society perceived women as weak and incapable. Thus, this can be inferred. If you read the text, you can already make inferences that this is only relevant in the past where women's role and right were denied. Nowadays, women's roles and rights are no longer denied, right? However, so like I said, if you are using simple past tense, you know already this situation is no longer happening in the present. Okay. Alright. So in other words, both implying and inferring skills are to be used together in comprehending the underlying meanings in a text. You may not realize that you might have actually used them in daily lives. Alright. Okay. Okay, let's look at example number 1. This is page 14, yeah. As you were walking down the street, this is situation 1 in page 14. As you were walking down the street, you saw a little girl crying next to an angry lady. Alright, in this scene, you will immediately infer, you will immediately guess that most probably the poor girl had done something wrong and the lady is the mother of the girl. You may also guess or infer that the girl was crying as a result of getting scolded by her mother, which is further justified by the angry look on her face. Alright, so this is just giving an example. You went to the mall, you see a girl crying, and then next to the crying girl is an angry lady with an angry face. Okay, so you make these guesses in your head already, saying that, oh, this girl is the woman's daughter, so this girl made something or did something wrong, so the mother is angry at her. So that's this tells why the girl is crying and why the lady has an angry look on her face. So if you look at page 15, alright, at the explanation here, you probably use your own experience or past observation to make inferences, because maybe you have encountered these similar incidents in the past. You already know that when you encounter a girl who is crying and an angry lady at the side, you know already this is probably due to the girl doing something wrong and is being scolded by the lady, etc., etc. Alright, even though there can be other explanation for both situations, you rule them out as you chose the most possible explanation based on the clues identified. So based on the clues, you know this is prior knowledge, this is past experience. You have seen this happening before. That's why you are using this as the clues to give the inference, right? Okay, so these other practices we will continue in our next lesson. So please remember the 5 tasks that I asked you to do. So please listen to my lecture, and what you need to do is record yourself and simply give your own explanation. I mean, based on your own word, give explanation on the 5 tasks that I asked you to do. For example, I asked you to explain what is simple past tense and what are the examples that you can give. So just explain in the most simplest way that you can. Just give me a simple explanation so that I know you understand today's lesson. So today's in the next class, please complete all of for the next class. You don't have to submit the practices today. Okay, so just for the next class, please complete all of the practices so that we can discuss this together in our next class later. Alright, okay, thank you everyone.